Hey guys, got another video again on the Raspberry Pi 5. This is, well, I was hoping this was going to be a better part 2 to the Raspberry Pi 5 16 gigabyte, but it's more just like an update. And the reason for making the video is because I've recently bought a new Raspberry Pi 5 because I want to do some AI stuff. And this is, when did I buy this? Bought it online maybe a week ago, and this is the latest version. This is my one which I've currently got plugged in. This is my 16 gigabyte one with the 16 gigabyte RAM chip on there. I just connected the UART to the computer, and as you can see there, the current status of it, so the boot up, this is the current firmware. So that was the November 5th firmware, and as you can see the code 9, so the LED is flashing 9 times, and that is the error SRAM mismatch because it's got 16 gigabytes too big. So yes, basically I was always under the impression that Raspberry Pi engineers will eventually give some sort of support to the 16 gigabyte, and now this, I don't know if you can see there, is an indication of when and not if. So if you can have a look down at the memory resistor indication, so you've got the 1, we've got the 2 which was released a couple of months ago, we've got the 4, the 8, and now you've got another little marking with no actual symbols, but you would assume that that would be for 16 gigabytes. So which tells me that yes, soon the Raspberry Pi engineers will update the firmware and release a version of the Raspberry Pi 5 with 16 gigabytes of RAM. And yeah, so what I've been doing with this one is I've been monitoring the GitHub repository for the firmware from Raspberry Pi, and every time that they release an update, I just, with the crazy hope that maybe they will have this code that rejects the large size either missed or just not put in, or eventually have it installed, and then I just keep reloading them with the hope that maybe it'll work. So right now in this little micro SD, I have got the latest GitHub repository. So as you can see here, this is the GitHub repository for the Raspberry Pi. This is made by Tim G. I think he's a Raspberry Pi engineer. And so these are all the latest versions that have been released, and then you can get the default one that you get from the Raspberry Pi Imager when you just want to go back to stock standard. So I believe so if you went to the Raspberry Pi Imager, this is a very old computer, it's where I do all my rubbish on. So if you have to select Pi 5, go down the bottom here where it says bootloader, and then you'll see there that this is the latest default version, if you would. So this would be this one over here, so latest, and then all the ones after that are like the beta versions. So this one I've got, so what I do is I have my other Raspberry Pi 5 which is used as a home server. I SSH into that. I then use the firmware update command in terminal, and I would just do a forced update using this latest bin. Then it would run the update and create the signature folder file. I would then get the latest bin file and recovery bin with the signature folder that would be sitting in the temporary folder of my other Raspberry Pi 5. I would then take those 3 folders and I copy them onto the SD card, which I then go and do a manual SD card update. That's the one where it like flashes and then it stays solid. But if you actually have the UART plugged in, you will see, I don't want to click that, you will see the information there. So I'm going to try and show that to you today. So I'm going to try and do this without one hand again. If I pull that out. Okay, there you go. So it's done. So the latest firmware update has been carried out, and it's gone through all its thing. And well, yeah, obviously they didn't do anything that would have removed that or made that supported. So we've got the same error. And I guess I'm just going to have to wait until next time. And hopefully the 16 gigabyte firmware will become available on the repository before the actual 16 gigabyte one gets released, and then I can use it. So that would be pretty cool. But anyway, there you go. 16 gigabyte one, but still dead. And the latest Pi 5 from Raspberry, and you can see definitely looks like 16 gigabytes on the way. Cool.